Hello and welcome to the third part of this video series where we are making a Dribble clone using Next.js. Now in the previous video we actually rendered the media that we are uploading in the first step and also added this insert block button. Now in this video we are going to start working on the components. So we have actually four kind of components here, and first we are going to work on this text component, and for that we are going to use tiptap editor here. And the reason I'm using this because since this is a headless wrapper, it is quite easy to use, and also the Dribble uses this exact same editor. So I'm going to use this in our application, and if you want to learn about this more, you can actually go ahead and read about this documentation, but I will be explaining each and every step as we use this in our application. Okay, so let's go here and let's install this for Next.js. So these are the starter packages that we have to install. So let's create one more terminal here, cd and then project, and install this. And after that, let's go below and let's make a component, and I would call this with test component. So we can write, not here, let's say here, this will be just a test component, test text component, just to show you how this works. Okay, so let's actually copy this, and then we can copy this. Okay, now this should work. Let's go to the upload component, and then we can import that here, test text component. Now let's go here and let's give a padding, so class name pb20, just to show you this is not the final. Okay, one more thing that I should do here is let's make this the default value of the state to other stuff, and in that way we will be on the second step always, so I would be able to focus on this part. So now as you can see, we have our text over here, which is in this case is the content of this editor, and we are only displaying our content. Now we do not have any ways to actually edit this content. We do not have any kind of toolbar anywhere in this page. So what we are going to do, we are going to add a button so that we can actually edit this. So if you want to learn how you can add those buttons to edit this text, you can go to the notes in the documentation and you can choose any of these options, and then you'll get this React code and you can read about this. The only thing that you should focus is this button part. This is a simple HTML button tag, and then inside that we have a onClick handler and a class name, and these are the two things that will edit these text. Okay, so what we are going to do, first we are going to cut this from here, make a div, write it inside that, and then we are going to just copy this and paste here. Okay, now first we are going to check if the editor is null or not. If the editor is null, then we are going to return null. Okay, and save this and let's see if this is working or not. So we have our text over here, and let's make this h1 tag. So this is not working actually, and the reason is that we did not actually install that extension. But just to show you, we can use different CSS, which is toggle bold, and this does not require any kind of extension. So we can just use toggle bold, and we can here write bold. Let's save and go back here, and now this is already selected. Click on the bold button, and as you can see, the text got bold. So this is how the tiptap editor works. So we basically first make an editor using use editor from tiptap React, and we pass that editor inside the editor content, which basically display that content that we have specified here. Okay, and then we make a button which actually change the content inside the editors using some functions. In this case, we are using toggle bold function to make this content bold. Okay, now if we want to make this back a simple text, we can again select that and click on the bold, and this will make that simple. And if we want to just make this hello bold, and we can do that as well. So this is how it works. Okay, now we are going to use the same approach, but we are going to make the toolbar in separate component and this editor content in separate component, so that we can use this toolbar in multiple places. So now let's make the component. So let's open this, and we can actually delete this text component. Remove this from here and from here. Okay, now in the components I'm going to make one more folder. Name would be text component. Okay, then inside that text.tsx. Inside that, make one more div. Give this div a class name of flex call, and empty gen. Okay, now inside this div, make one more div. Give this id of my div, then a class name of w10/12, mx-auto, px32, mdpx16, okay, and smpx6, and relative. Inside that, make one more div, and then we are going to have, inside that we are going to have one more component. This would be editor comp. Okay, and now we are going to make that component here, editor comp.tsx, tsrfc, and then let's import that here. Now in the editor comp, we are going to first define that editor const editor is equals to use editor from tiptap. So let's import that, use from tiptap. Okay, so tiptap react use editor, and inside that we are going to first have extensions. This will be an array, and then we are going to have editor props. Okay, this will be an object, and then we are going to have content. Okay, let's say hello, and yeah, that's it. So for the content we can write this. Okay, we can write like this. So for the content we can write like this. This should be a HTML, not anything else. And now we are going to start filling the extensions and the editor props. So first will be the extensions. So extension will take starter kit from tiptap react. So let's go to tiptap documentations, and we can then search for the starter kit. Okay, copy this, import it here, and add it here. Then we are going to use underline. So again, search the underline. Okay, so we can first install that package, and let's also import the underline. Then we are going to use text align here, so we can install that as well. Not here, here. And then we are going to have link, so that we can apply link. Okay, copy this, paste here, and that's all. This is all we wanted. After that we are going to import each of them. So import, and now we can go below and add them here. Underline, and text align dot configure. Okay, so the types will be heading and paragraph, and these two types will be there. And then we are going to have link configure and open click true. Now in the editor props we are going to define attributes, in which we are going to define classes which is going to be applied on this div. But for now I'm going to leave this empty, and when the time comes I will explain this with an example. Right now if I just write and explain you, you will not understand anything. So I'm just going to leave it empty here right now. Okay. Now after that we are going to first check if we have editor or not, and then we can return null if we do not have the editor. Lastly, here we can add the editor content from tiptap react and pass the editor. Okay, so this component is ready, although this is not complete. This is ready for now. Okay, now let's go to the text component again. After this div, we can go to the first media over here, and we can copy this whole. So and go to the text component and paste it here. Okay, and we are going to remove this text. Okay, now this will be only plus sign. So with that we are done with the editor comp, which only shows right now the editor content. Now we are going to make the menu. Okay, so for now I'm going to actually make the menu over here so that I can actually use this editor. But when we are done with both editor content and menu, then I'm going to actually separate them both, and I will be passing this editor instead of creating this here. Okay, so for just now I'm going to make a new component here. Let's say const editor toolbar. Okay, and this will take editor and type will be editor. Okay, and then we are going to return it here, and then a div. Now let's render our text component in the plot component. So let's import that text component, and now as you can see we have our text component over here, and we also have the plus sign. Now there's no CSS, and so to have any kind of style over here we need to actually provide some class over here. So now I would add those classes here. W will be full. Okay, leading, which means line height will be 3, p5, focus outline of maybe 2 pixel, then focus border of 2 pixel, then focus border of pink 500, and same goes for outline. So outline pink 500, then give a border radius of rounded XL, and transition all is in type, and duration will be of 150 milliseconds. Now let's save and see if this is working or not. So refresh the page, and as you can see now the style for the input or the editor content has changed. Now we need to apply the CSS to this part. Now if I do not add pros, which means the typography classes over here, and just add a text excel, any p text excel, refresh the page, this will not work. Okay, and if I add the pros over here, refresh the page, and this will still not work because we need to add pros here as well. Refresh the page, and as you can see, now the text size is XL, extra large. Let's make this 4XL. Refresh the page, and as you can see, this is now 4XL. Now we are not going to actually apply classes to the p tag. Actually we are going to apply classes to anchor tag, and we only want the font to be semi bold and close a text color to be pink 500. Okay, refresh the page, and let's add an anchor tag over here. So we can add anchor tag and add hello, and this will not work actually. This will only print hello. For this to working, we need to add href and then some link over here, so we can write hello. Now if I refresh this, this will start working. So now we have a hello link over here. When I click on this, this will open in a new tab. Okay, so this is working. Now if you don't want this to open in a new tab while you are actually writing your content here, then you can just add false over here, refresh the page, and now when we click on this, this will not actually open in a new tab. Actually this will not open at all because we have made this value to false. Okay, lastly we are also going to add pros leading loose for maximum line height. And yeah, this is all the CSS that we are going to write here. Now one more thing I want you guys to know, that this pros actually removes all the default classes from the tags. So as you might already know that Tailwind applies some default classes on each tags. So that is why even if we use an anchor tag over here, let's say hello again, like here, as you can see, now there's no classes. And if we use a simple HTML tag, we would see a blue color and an underline. So Tailwind removes all those CSS by default and make it look like this. Now when we use pros here, we get those classes back. Refresh the page. Okay, let's write it here. I think that is why. Okay, so now as you can see, this text has an underline, and this is the default behavior of a anchor tag. So what this pros does is just remove those default classes that is applied by the Tailwind. Okay, so you need to understand that as well. So whenever we are going to add a new h1 tag using our toolbar here, this is going to actually show the actual h1 tag which we see in the HTML. I hope you understand, and I hope I did not make this complicated. So now we have added all the classes, and now we have our content as well, and now we are going to start working on the toolbar. Now one more thing I want to show you, that let's console our editor here. Okay, so let's see what we are getting inside the editor. Refresh the page, let's go to the console. Now as you can see, we have an editor here. Now this editor has a bunch of things. Now if I go here and make one more editor here with same properties, and everything is same now. Okay, just the naming of this editor is editor 1. And now if I console the comparison of between them, so comparison of editor is equals to editor 1, let's see what we are getting. Okay, so now as you can see in the comparison, we are getting false, even though both are actually same, almost same. All the content inside the user editor is same, still they are not equal. And that is why the editor tool that we are making here will have to have same editor that we are giving this to editor content, so that by using this toolbar we can edit this content. If both are different, if both editors that we are passing here are different, then we won't be able to actually edit this editor content using this editor toolbar. I hope you understand. So I'm going to actually make just one editor right now, and I'll make this working, and after that we are going to find a way so that we can pass the same editor to this editor toolbar whenever we select a text. Okay, whenever we select a text component, okay, like I did over here. Okay, when I add one more editor, let's add this one, and again in this one. So whenever I click on this, the editor which I have passed over here, same is passed to this toolbar, and when I click on this, the same editor that I have passed here goes to this toolbar, and that is why I am able to actually edit this. And same with this one. Okay, and they both are same, and they both are different. I hope you understand this part as well. So first we are going to make this toolbar, which will take the same editor, which we are going to pass it here, and then we are going to make this functional, and then we are going to think about how we can pass the same editor each time when we want to edit the text component. Okay, so now inside this div, make one more div, then one more div, give this a class name. Let's close this. Flex space x3 item center and mb10. Now inside this div, make a span and add this svg. You can copy that from my GitHub, and then below that add a h3 tag of class name text excel fonts semi-bold, and then inside that we can write text. Now after that, below this div, make one more div, make a span, give this a class name of text sm and font semi-bold, and inside that we can write text. Okay, now below that make a div and give this a class name of empty5, and now inside that make one more div, give this a class name of p3 border of 2 rounded lg and position relative. Now inside this make a span, give this a class name of flex item center justify between and cursor pointer. Okay, let's make this a div, since we are going to add a span inside this. So add a span and give this a class name of text sm text neutral of 500, and inside that we can write selected text. Okay, let's make that state over here, const selected text set selected text is equals to use state, and type would be string and default value would be body. Now let's go below, add one more span. Inside that we can have chevron down, so we are not getting chevron down. Let's go above and we can manually import that from Lucid React. Okay, so I think I did not added that package here, so we can write npm I Lucid React. Now let's close this and we can add lucid. Okay, why we are not getting lucid react, and I'm going to import chevron down, and then I can add it here. Okay, now the size would be of 14, and then outside this div we are going to have a component. We can name this heading text menu. Okay, and let's make this here, so we can write heading text menu .tsx. Let's import that here. Okay, and after that below this div we are going to have text editor. Okay, and let's make this as well, so we can write text editor .tsx. Let's import that here. Okay, so with that we have almost completed the JSX part, and now let's go here and let's add the editor toolbar. Okay, so only we have completed the JSX, still the functioning of this toolbar is still remaining. Okay, so we can add. Okay, why I'm not getting. Okay, so problem is that right now this is just a simple function, not a React component. So for that we need to actually write it like this. Copy this, and then we can write it like this, and now we can easily add the editor. Now let's save, go to our main, and now as you can see we have something. Okay, so right now let's go here, and we do not need this actually. So, and now apart from that, let's also give some classes to this. We are going to actually remove that later, but I'm going to add some classes. Fixed, then write 0, and W would be of 300 pixels, and VG white. Okay, and where does it go? Let's make this absolute, since we are only testing for now. So this is here, write 0. So now this is here. Let's maybe make it top 32 and minus, so this will go up, and now this is looking like this. Add a padding of maybe 4. Okay, so right now we have editor toolbar over here. This is just temporary for testing purpose, since I'm showing you how you can develop this toolbar and this editor content over here and make them work. So this is just temporary. So after we make both of them, we are going to actually make a sidebar in a different component, and we are going to actually discard this editor toolbar. But right now this is just for testing purpose, so do not worry. Okay, so now we are going to work on this text editor. Okay, and this will take the editor. Okay, now let's go to the text editor. We can write editor of type editor or null. Okay, and here we can destructure that editor, and then here we can check if the editor is available or not. So editor, if this is available, then we are going to return null. I hope this makes sense to you. And now we are going to start adding those buttons like it is used here. Okay, let's remove this text editor and give this a class name of empty6. Okay, then border of 1 pixel and rounded LG, and then inside this div make one more div, give this a class name of flex item center justify around, and inside this div we are going to start adding our buttons. So first button type will be button, then we are going to have one click handler, and this will do this. Okay, yeah, correct prediction. Okay, and now if let's write bold and let's see if this is working or not just for this. So let's go again here. Now we have bold button. Let's select this and click on this button. Okay, so I think this is interfering with this, so we can go to the editor comp, not here, a text component, and for now we can just comment this out. Okay, so now let's select this. Okay, maybe I'm not able to actually click on this. Let's go again to text editor, add a class name over here, cursor pointer. This will tell us if we are able to click on this not. Okay, so let me also give of padding pb of 10. Okay, so now I should be able to click on this, and now this is working. As you can see, this is working. Okay, so we can continue adding some more buttons over here. Now I also want to change the class of this button according to this selected editor. Okay, so we can add a class name, write it like this, and if the editor dot is active, if this is equals to bold, then we are going to do something, otherwise we are going to do something else. Okay, so if this is active, then we are going to make p3 w full outline 2. Okay, and the color will be outline purple of 600, bg purple of 100, and rounded slg. Now some of the classes will be same. P will be 3, w full outline and outline slate of 200 and rounded slg. Okay, now let's save and see. Okay, so now if I click on this, okay, now this is going to work like this. Now we can also disable this disabled. If I save this, this will be disabled and you cannot do anything to this. So this is going to be disabled if the editor is not available. So if the editor dot chain dot focus dot toggle bold dot run, so if this conditions satisfies, then we are going to make this disable. Okay, so maximum rate. Okay, so one thing I forgot is dot can. So now this is working, but if the editor is not available, then we are going to actually make this disable. And now remove bold, and we are going to add SVG here for this icon, bold icon. Okay, and also let's give this a style. So the style will be of display flags, align items center, and then justify content of center, and this will make it a center. Now we can just duplicate this, and this button will be used for italic, and same here. Okay, here write italic, and now we can remove this rounded SLG from here and from here, and we can also replace this SVG with this. Now let's save, and now we have a italic. Now if I select this, make this italic, as you can see this is italic now. Now let's add the third button over here. We can just duplicate this. Now the third button will be used for underline, so we can write toggle underline, and here as well. Then here write underline, and now this will be rounded ELG, and same here rounded ELG, and also change the SVG. You can get all the SVGs from my GitHub. Now let's save, and now we have underline. Click on this, and now the content is underline. So we have made these three buttons. Now we are going to continue adding, and now we are going to add the alignment buttons over here. Okay, now below this div, make one more div, give this a class name of empty6, then inside this add a span, write alignment, and then give this a class name of text sm and font semi-bold. After that, below this div, make one more div and give this a class name of border of 1 pixel and rounded LG and empty3. Now inside this div, we are going to have one more div, give this class name as well, flex item center, justify around, and then we can start adding our buttons. So let's go above and copy all these buttons, and we can just paste it here, and we are going to do small changes in these buttons. Okay, so first will be set align, text align, and inside that we can write left, and here as well we can copy this and paste here, and here we can write if the text align is left or not. What we have imported, I don't know. Let's remove this. Okay, similarly we can copy all this, paste here, and here make this center, this as well. Now copy, now paste it here, and here make this right, and this one as well. And also copy this paste here, make this center, and this as well. Right, and now we are going to change this SVGs. You can copy that from my GitHub. So now I have changed all SVGs, and now this is looking like this. Okay, now let's select this, click on the center, then right, then left. So this is working, but styles are not showing here, and the problem is that this should be small t. This as well, and this one as well. Let's save, and as you can see, this is working as well. Okay, and now let's work on the link part. So when I click on this, there will be a bubble menu here to set a link to the selected text. Okay, so we can go above and we can write that function here. For setting link, we can go to the tiptap again, and we can search for link here, and we'll get to this page. Now we'll get a code here, and we just need to copy this function. Okay, let's copy this and add it over here. Import the use callback, and we can copy this and paste here. Okay, so we do not have any kind of error. Now I want this link to be in bubble menu, so we can go here again and search for bubble menu, and for that we need to install some packages, I think. Okay, so we do not need to install anything. We can just, and we can make one more div over here. Inside that, first we are going to check if we have editor or not. Then we can have our bubble menu. Okay, now inside that, first provide the editor here. So editor will be editor, and give this a class name. Okay, children missing. Okay, so we need to provide the children, which will be button in this case, which we are going to do later. bg void p2 shadow 2xl text pink of 600, and TP option will be duration of 200 milliseconds. Now inside that, add a button, then on click handler, and this will set the link. Okay, now add a class name here, editor dot is active link. So if this is true, we can have bg pink, let's go with 100, and now here we can add a icon. So we can go to the Lucid Direct link. So I'll need this one, copy this, paste here, and import that from Lucid Direct, save, and now we should have our icon here. Let's add here, and one more thing I want to add here, this parameter. I think there's no. Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to add myself. So in the text component, sorry, in the editor component, we can add one more parameter here, default protocol, and that would be equals to HTTPS. Okay, now close this, go to the text editor, save this, and let's see if this is working or not. So we can add maybe google.com, and now this, as you can see, Now the color has been changed to pink because we have added this CSS. Okay, and now this has a link. Now to check if this has a link or not, we can close this, and when I click on this, and this should open, but this is not opening because I have added false here. Let's refresh this again, add link google.com. Okay, now let's click on this, and as you can see, this is working, but the link is not correct, so you need to write the whole URL like this. We can copy the whole URL from here and paste it here. Okay, and now when I click on this, this will open this URL. So we are almost done with this editor toolbar. The only thing that is left is this styles, heading 1, heading 2 and body, which I'm going to do this in next video since the video is getting too long. Okay, and also along with that, we're also going to work on the multiple instances of text component and how we can edit those with one single editor menu. Okay.